guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to the office where some pettiness occurred and we're going to enjoy every minute of it. So if you like the video, subscribe. Yeah, that's all. I torpedoed a dude's entire career because he was a bully. I'll say he deserved it. Let's see what he did.
Okay.
So to preface, I know I'm somewhat of a nepo baby, but it is what it is. My mom is incredibly successful in a niche but very lucrative field of business. This allowed my dad to be a stay-at-home dad and for me and my siblings to get a good education, so there was money in the family. When I graduated from college, I decided to go into the same field as my mom. Obviously, where the money is, you don't need to find out more, just go there. I think I'll work for mom. While I love her and our relationship is good, I very much did not want to only be viewed as her kid, makes sense? Or receive special treatment due to how well regarded she is. So I used my dad's surname. And generally kept who my mom is to myself. I also avoided coming to work for her. In my field and country, it is generally accepted that people are hired for a trial period, at the end of which either the employee or the employer can cut ties with no fines or compensation required. So anyway, I went to work at one company. Again, I'll remind you, very niche market, very few employment opportunities, so you have to get that one. I went in for my trial period and everyone seemed pretty happy with me. I put out some fires and one superior described me as a workhorse because I'm first to the office, last out the door. It goes pretty well, except for one colleague in my team. This dude is a huge jerk. I'm a bit of a people pleaser and try to be on good terms with everyone, but Jack will have none of it. Dude is incredibly rude. He keeps being very confrontational, like if a colleague, not just me, was getting any sort of acknowledgement, Jack would belittle them and their accomplishment. Yeah.
Come on, man.
We all know those type of people. If someone was saying they had a rough time with something, Jerk would pop up going, oh yeah, I did that a while back. It was super easy. Whenever someone tried talking about future plans with me, Jerk would go, oh yeah, we'll see about that.
What?
He also apparently says some very unkind things about my appearance and masculinity. So, hope he's a man. But those, at least, he had the decency to say behind my back. So he didn't have the balls to like say it in front of me, to bring it on, like tell me to my face, I suppose, and I only learned about them later. Like, dude was incredibly mean for apparently no reason except trying to make himself look better by making others or everyone else look worse. This one thing wasn't true to me specifically because I'm male, but his meanness seemed to apply especially to women. A few comments were about how working in this field isn't for moms, they should be raising kids or whatever, and some other very bad stuff. But management seemed pretty content keeping him around because apparently he was a pretty good worker and they liked that he was ambitious. Fine. My trial period ends. I am offered a permanent position but decide this is not the place for me as I don't love being anybody's workhorse. Well, I mean, like, they were just praising you, but I get it. I don't like being anybody's workhorse and have very little interest in sticking around in Jerk's vicinity. I would say that's the main reason why I would quit that job. Like, who wants to be around such a toxic work environment?
Absolutely.
I respectfully informed them I will not be sticking around and go find work somewhere else. On my last day, I come to say goodbye. Management says they are sorry to see me go. Colleagues wish me well. What does Jerk say? And say they are going to miss me. Jerk goes, I told you OP wasn't going to stick around. Good riddance. This is a point where, I mean, last day, obviously I don't have any ties to that company. This is a point where I'm gonna be like super mean and just like, you know what would you do? I'm a nice person, I'm a good person, like what would you guys do? Let me know in the comments. Maybe this field isn't for you either. Oh, that's mean. Very loudly, I leave. I'm not very confrontational. Oh boy, this is a time you have to be confrontational. And I don't have to deal with him anymore anyway, so I just go. Because you don't have to deal with him, you were supposed to leave him with something to remember you by. So some time goes by. I am now employed elsewhere. I'm happy and doing well. I love my work and my colleagues have been promoted, and I don't really think about jerk anymore, except apparently there's a relative influx of applicants from jerk's company. Relative again because the very niche market, whatever. My boss knows I did a trial period over there, so whenever an applicant comes up, he asks me about my experience with them. I'm like, jerk, please apply, please apply, please apply. Okay, there are very few people I dislike, so when asked, I usually give my honest opinion, which is usually very positive. But guess whose application we suddenly receive? I knew this was going to happen. Paper could just be so sweet. It's jerk. My boss asks for my opinion and I say, look, I have very personal feelings about this person and I can't be objective. You're being too nice and too fair. Boss, knowing just how positive I usually am about basically everyone, asks me what's up, and eventually I tell him everything. Jerk obviously doesn't get hired. I assume that's the end of the story. Wait, is he gonna fight him? Like, is he going to be mad and come and fight? Let's see. A few days later, we have family dinner. My mom goes, wait, you had a trial period at that company, right? Did you know? Jerk. Oh god, karma is a B word. Well, my mom knew there was a person I really didn't get along with at that company and the shitty things they did. I tell her it was him. Obviously she ain't gonna hire him either, especially given his views on women. I was gonna say that. So my company ends up hiring one of Jake's company's former workers. Me and her are on great terms, and that is how I discovered what really happened. What did Jake do? Maybe he pissed off like the wrong person in the former company. Jake got promoted and that made a bunch of people want to leave. These caused management to look into why strong applicants were leaving after their trial period was over. Turned out it was Jake. Someone had a talk with him, and from what I gather, he was not receptive to criticism. He was let go. This is when he applied to the company I work for and to my mom's. From what I understand, he no longer works in our field. There are, as I mentioned, not many employers around, but unfortunately I have no idea what he does do. We'll update it. I think we'll update you if I find out. I think Jake got exactly what he deserved. And let's move on to the next story. My colleague said, please message me in the group chat. All right, but you won't like it. So I have a coworker I don't get along with. I tried being friendly with him when I first started, but he listened to a coworker who worked in my unit and she only ever speaks badly about me. She later admitted it's because she has a hard time making friends, is shy, and sometimes being a little bit mean helps her open up. How about just be mean and say mean things about yourself? Or people that don't exist, like, it's not even an excuse to be mean. Like, I don't get it. So anyways, this coworker guy is only ever nice and helpful to the girls. For the longest time, I was the only guy in my unit. That meant that if he had info he needed to share with me, he would take it to my boss. Like, dude, you literally don't talk. Sorry, I can't talk to you because you were male. If he had info to share with anyone else in my unit, he would come bearing gifts, usually Mexican or Japanese snacks. He prefers his private messages to be only from the girls in the office. So, okay. The title makes sense to me. At this point, I'm like, yep, he deserves whatever he's gonna get. Now, recently he directly told me to only message him in the group chat. If it hadn't been for the way he told me, I would have been okay. There are managers in the group chat, timestamps, etc. I began to message him in the group chat, but only to point out his errors. This is pettiness in its fullness, and we are loving it. Showing that he was making people wait up to an hour to hear from him on issues that normally take 2 to 5 minutes to get a response back. Sending messages that people are on hold for him and implying that he should be taking calls he promises to take and not leave them to flirt with girls in the office. In the last hour of the day, he came back to me and just quickly said, "Please send messages for me directly to me." I didn't. He was very stern in needing messages for him in the group chat. So that's exactly what we did.
Nice.
That's all for me today. I'll see you guys in the next one. So remember, when next you want to be mean to a coworker, just make sure they have not watched this video and they're not as petty as I am. See you guys in the next one. Bye.